Hello, hello. Welcome to my human design channel. My name is Juji. This is HD by Z. I'm a human design reader and life coach. Have you heard the big news? Human design was declared in by the Washington Post for 2023, which is huge. The system is finally being recognized by the mainstream. Those of us who have been working in this system could not be more thrilled. And it could not be better timing because 2027 is around the corner. I'm very proud to be part of this trend. So, do you guys want to talk about 2027? Before we get started, I want to read you a quote by the original messenger of human design, Ra Uru Hu. Ra said, and I quote, "In 2027, the wheel is going to turn. We're going to enter into a new age of over 400 years in which the main theme is going to be individual survival. It's why this knowledge came into the world. It's for those who are going to be born or those children who are being raised correctly now so that they're going to be able to live in the world and be able to deal with that world." So you guys already know the world has been turning upside down. It started in 2020 with the pandemic, and astrologers and psychics and theologians have been predicting end of times and breakdowns for quite some time. And similarly, according to human design, there's going to be a very big shift that happens on February 15th, 2027. There's going to be a whole new dimension to this breakdown. This isn't just about a shift in the universal background frequency that we're all experiencing. It's also about a mutation that's coming. Children who are born after this date will have a slightly different genetic makeup than those who are born before this. It's just like how boomers and millennials and Gen Z are so different from one another. This new generation is going to be a lot more sensitive than we are, and they're going to use their emotions instead of their minds to be making decisions for their future. The last time we had such a big shift was in 1781, when, according to human design, we went from being seven-centered beings who are much more strategic and hierarchical to nine-centered beings, which is when our emotions really came online for the first time. So the truth is, we don't really know what this new generation is going to be like, just that they're going to have a higher level of consciousness. And isn't that essentially what this new age of Aquarius is all about, a higher level of consciousness? So how do we prepare for something if we don't really know what it looks like? Well, how do you prepare for a snowstorm if you don't know how much snow you're going to get? Maybe you'll get 3 inches, maybe you'll get 3 feet. Regardless, it's good to be prepared. And that's, again, why human design was sent to us, to help us prepare for what we don't know is coming. One of the things that's become very clear is that the old way is not going to work. From the time that we're born, we're being conditioned by expectations from our parents, our teachers, by society as a whole. But the present society is what's falling apart, so that's not going to work. Deconditioning is the magic word when it comes to human design. Instead of looking outside of ourselves for the solution, we are here to look within. This introspection is what human design is here for. And avoiding this kind of introspection can lead to all sorts of mental and physical breakdowns, which is what we're seeing a lot of in our world. In the world of spirituality and health and wellness, we've already made this mind-body connection. We know that one doesn't work without the other. But human design shares with us a deeper layer, which is all about how to treat our mind and our body. This is how you can become your own doctor. This is how you can stop relying on systems to save you, because nobody's coming to save you. Human design was given to us to help us with this introspection. It's what is here to help us get ready for this storm. So let's talk about what human design actually offers. Do you guys remember your parents joking around about how you didn't come with a manual? Well, guess what? Now we have one. It is a manual for raising babies, but as adults, we can learn so much about how we've gone off course away from our true nature. The body graph helps us to understand who we are, and a personal report is like a reference manual that you can use forever and ever, anytime you feel stuck or unsure of something. If self-awareness is the shield for 2027, then a reading is actually the first step. A lot of people feel like they're being seen for the first time when they have their first reading. I think the funniest thing I've ever heard is somebody said, "It feels like you've been hiding in the closet my whole life watching me." Somebody recently told me it's like I've been listening in on her therapy sessions. A lot of this journey is unlocking things that you already knew about yourself, but never quite had the words to describe. You might learn some things that were tucked away deep in your subconscious. This is because human design shows us both our conscious and our unconscious selves. And the synthesis of these two things is what makes you who you are. I want to illustrate this with a couple of different examples. At its core, human design is about energy. Where we put our energy is really important. For about 70% of us, the best way to understand where to put our energy is through yes and no questions. With open-ended questions, these people can experience a lot of frustration. We all know the age-old, "What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do?" And this ping pong back and forth creates so much frustration that in the end, you end up doing nothing, right? Everyone can relate to this. Instead of "what do you want to do?" you can say things like, "Do you want to go out? Yes or no? Do you want to go get pizza? Yes or no? Do you want to go to the movies? Yes or no?" This is simple, but not necessarily easy. It takes a little practice to get used to. And it doesn't only apply to small things. Imagine your spouse comes home crying from work because they're having such a hard time. Instead of asking them, "What do you want to do about this?" you can say, "Do you want to leave your job? Do you want to start looking for something else?" This can be a small but powerful shift. Do you want to try it at home? Cleaning up the frustration and the resistance in communication is an amazing way to prepare for 2027. It's like making sure you have a backup generator in case you lose power. The second most important thing to understand is what we call emotional definition. For about 50% of the population, the decision-making process takes a little bit more time. This ranges from being able to decide whether or not you want to go to a party the following evening, or if you want to move to another city. Can you relate to this? Would you like it if people in your life gave you more of a heads up? Can you push away your decisions by saying things like, "Let me sleep on it, and I'll get back to you when I can"? Would giving yourself that time and space be a relief? What we're here to understand is the other 50% of the population, the one that can make quick decisions, is constantly rushing those who need more time. Can you relate to that? Do you feel like you could be more patient with those in your life? This is another very effective way that human design can help improve communication in any relationship. And wouldn't a harmonious relationship help with a challenging future? Another quote that I love by Ra is, "If you allow someone to be who they are and they allow you to be who you are, that's love. Anything else is torture." That's honestly why I focus so much on relationships on this channel and when I'm working with clients one-on-one. This is the kind of preparation that's like making sure you have enough food in your pantry for when the storm hits. Okay, example 3. Have you experienced sitting in a meeting with a bunch of people talking about something that you're an expert in, but they're not listening to you, and it's driving you crazy? Do you feel tired all the time? Do you feel like you're lazy compared to other people? Human design can explain that you might have lower energy than others. About 20% of the population is here to be a guide for energy, but you must wait to be invited. Remember, the quietest person in the room is often the most powerful. When you're invited to share your observations, that's when you can be the most successful. And you are here to be recognized for these gifts. After all, we're going to need you in 2027. We're not going to be able to afford to be as wasteful as we have been. It's like making sure we have plenty of bottled water in the house in case the pipes freeze during a storm. Example 4. Human design can tell us a lot about how we socialize. Are you someone who always leaves the party early? Do you get sick when you overdo it with the socializing? Do you hate small talk? Do you prefer one-on-one interaction? Are you more comfortable in your own space than somebody else's? Human design can explain all of these things about you and help you release any guilt that you may feel. It can also help you set boundaries with other people without them having to take it personally. These are seemingly small things, but when you start to accept your own needs, you can stop abandoning yourself and start feeling much better in your own skin. Remember that mind-body connection we were talking about? This is like collecting firewood to make sure you can stay warm during a storm. Number 5, are you in a career that you don't enjoy? Are you afraid to leave because it would mean that you made a mistake? Some of us learn through trial and error, by trying new things, by experiencing them. Can you accept that you might be one of these types of people who learns by mistake making? Can you have a sense of humor about having to fuck around and find out? Human design is here to help us have a lot more grace for ourselves, to stop comparing ourselves to other people and how they do things, how their timeline works, what their process looks like. We need people like this in 2027 who can tell us everything that doesn't work. It's like boarding up your windows in case the wind picks up during the storm. And my final example is potentially the most important. Do you hate eating breakfast? Do you do it anyway because they tell you it's a part of a healthy diet? Did you know that some of us are meant to eat late at night? Did you know some of us are meant to eat only hot food? Did you know some of us are here to eat more simple foods while others can eat more complex dishes? Health is one of the most important things about a quality of life. And human design is here to show you how you're here to eat, which is not like everyone else. This eating recommendation in human design can be a revelation for those who don't understand why they have the eating habits they do. I spoke to a woman who used to get up in the middle of the night, make herself a meal, and clean it up so nobody in her family would know that she was eating at 2 a.m. But this is completely correct for her because she's here to eat during nighttime hours. But she always thought she was nuts. So have you had a problem with fluctuating weight? Have you had unexplained digestive issues? This is a way for you to take your health into your own hands. You don't have to follow what the experts say. Remember, you're here to be your own doctor. Knowing what's best for you is the most important way to prepare for 2027. This is like making sure you have a shovel to dig your way out of the snow if you need to. So, okay, you might be asking yourself, how do I get started? But like I said, it starts with a reading, preferably by somebody who studied source material. A client of mine named Mary recently wrote me this. I have received so much clarity, and it is very empowering to know myself at an even deeper level. It's brought me an acceptance and validation of who I am and my role in this time-space reality we exist in. The way you explained my design helped me to understand and see how my auric field operates. This helped me realize and see how hard I've been on myself. I certainly have used the word laziness towards myself in a depleting kind of way. I had been asking God, my higher self, the universe, how can I know myself more? And I was led to you. Thank you so much. Couldn't have had a better human design reading. I love your energy. I felt like an Energizer bunny for the rest of the day after my session, energized by joy, bliss, and peace. Thank you, Mary. An introduction to human design is 90 minutes. All of my readings are recorded, so you can watch them over and over again. If you're not quite ready for a reading, but you want to get started, a more accessible, less expensive step is a 5-page report that's available on my website. It's a pocket-friendly resource you can refer back to whenever you need. And for the first time in human design history, I've created an all-women support group for your deconditioning process called the Beehive. We have group coaching calls once a week. I bring in guests to give their perspective on human design and other practitioners to teach us about modalities that can help us heal. It's also a learning platform where you can view all of my previous workshops. You can study at your own pace and follow along with your own chart. We also have a group chat where you can ask questions, request support, and be yourself no matter what. It's a welcoming sisterhood to help with the deconditioning process, and I would love to have you. If you have any questions about 2027 or anything else, please feel free to reach out to me, hello@hdbyz.com. All of my information will be in the show notes below. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao for now.